Course Podcast.
Lift up your head, eyes off the floor, 'cause your time is coming right after this storm. And don't be afraid of what lies ahead, 'cause it's Jesus, He is calling you now where you've never been. How deep is your soul, and how strong can your heart be? It's never too late. No, not while we're still breathing. No, it's never too late. While we're still breathing. No, it's never ever too late now.
Hey, this is Amber from On Course Magazine, and we're here at GMA Week 2008 talking to our good friend Sarah Kelly.
Hi, Amber.
You have, grown and developed as an artist, and
Absolutely.
and got your start in fine arts. Tell me about your.
I got my start in youth group,
Yeah.
in leading worship and actually playing piano, because I didn't really think I could sing.
Yeah.
And I didn't make choir, like as far as in high school or nothing, so
Yeah.
I tried out and didn't make it. So I thought, maybe I will spare the world for my voice. It's funny that I'm a singer now, but, but I did play on youth group worship teams all the time, and really love music and love the way that a band fits together, and that's always been intriguing to me to hear how the bass and the kick drum go together, and so they always put me in charge of the bands, but I never sang.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
That's crazy.
I know. Until my pastor made me sing. Pastor Jeremy in Rockford, Illinois.
Wow.
He handed me the mic one day and said, okay, the worship leader's out for a time, so we need you to start leading worship at Rockford Masters Commission.
Wow.
So it was the most scary day of my life, the first time I went on that stage to lead worship. I remember in the hallway behind where you come out on stage for our church, I ended up throwing up. I'm trying to find a good way to say that, but there's just not
There's
one.
just not one.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was so nervous, and I was so scared. I think it was because I was so insecure about it.
Yeah.
But it's so funny, the things that we're the most insecure about are sometimes the things that God wants to use in us.
Yes.
And it was one of the worst days of my life, to be honest with you. I went off stage and cried, and I felt like God couldn't move because of me or something. You know how we do that to ourselves. And I was like, I'm sorry, Pastor Dear. And he's like, what are you talking about? That was phenomenal. Awesome. His encouragement got me up there again, kept doing it, got good at it, and made an album to make money for a drum set for Masters Commission, and ended up with a Grammy nomination, and the rest is history.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is, and it all happened in my hometown, my home church, Rockford, Illinois, First Assembly of God.
You had a great youth group, but you were going through some really rough times in your life.
It really was. Right underneath everyone's noses, it's, you wonder how this can happen, in an environment as good as the one that I grew up in. I mean, it's the best.
Yeah.
One of the best, most healthy youth groups in the nation.
Yeah.
And, but I think we can try to shelter kids from anything, but you can't.
Yeah.
They're still going to have to go through what they need to go through, especially when they're indulging in sin patterns. And I was indulging in my own. And it was self-hate.
Yeah.
I didn't like myself.
Yeah, I remember when we talked before about how being in a Christian school environment that you were just surrounded with mean girls.
I really was. It was like the movie times 10. I'd go to my locker and there's like pictures of me with. I have big hair. I've always had big hair. This is how I've looked since I was.
I had bigger hair.
Fifth grade, Well, yeah, back then when it was cool to do big hair, remember that? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Like if it wasn't bigger than your forehead, it wasn't cool. Oh, yeah. I remember those days. But they would draw these pictures, and their hair was just as big as mine.
Yeah, exactly.
But they were drawing pictures of me with, like, rats coming out of it. And I was the new girl at school. It was awful, you know, sitting alone at lunch and truly just hurting, you know, wanting to fit in so desperately bad and not knowing how to. And the harder I tried, the worse it got. And I just fell into a very common trap for young girls. What happens is you hear these things about yourself so much that you start to actually hate yourself. It goes from just being insecurity, little innocent insecurity, which is an ugly monster that is so rough with us girls, and I wish someone would just get rough back with it. Yeah. You know, and that's why I love to go and talk to girls and shake them a little and be like, because that insecurity is so rough on them, I want to be rough back and say, we've got to get a hold of this thing. Yeah. It's not going to just leave. You know, you've got to take those thoughts captive and really try. Yeah. Try to conquer it. It doesn't just go away.
Yeah. That Mean Girls whole impact on your life actually led you into a destructive boyfriend-girlfriend relationship pattern.
Yeah, so I mean it was just extreme outcast by my peers. Led to, I mean, I wanted to fit in so badly, and I figured out a trick in the end of my 8th grade year, that if I would just date older boys, because it was a Christian school, and the Christian schools, like, I love my school, I love my upbringing. I think these things I would have gone through no matter where I was. Yes. So I don't point a finger at that school or my church or anything. God, I would hate to think what I'd turn out like somewhere else. You know what I mean? So I'm very grateful for where I grew up. But you know, the 7th graders and the seniors are roaming the same halls, so that does get a little complicated in that. If there's an older guy that wants to exploit a younger girl, he's going to be able to, especially when as vulnerable as I was. He just had his own issues, you know. A junior in high school, though, you know, I look at girls now, and I talk to youth groups all over, and I'm just like, girls, like, hold on. Do you really believe that the older guys, they like you for your brains? Do you really believe that? Because if you do, we need to talk. Because you're not very smart. Yeah. They don't like you for your brains. And they might not know why they like you. And they might not be trying to be bad to you or might not be beating you. But there's something in them that wants to control something. Yes. And that's why they're reaching so young. And guess what, honey? You're it. So when I go and talk to girls out there, I'm like, okay, Auntie Sarah's rules, okay? 1 year older, no more. Okay, it's inevitable. Girls are gonna date. That's what they do. Okay, love to keep them away from guys altogether until later. You know,
put you in a bubble.
But it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. But I do tell them 1 year older. Any more than that, red flag, big red flag. Yeah. In your insecurity levels, as well as some emotional issues on his part. Yeah. You know, like any more than that, I don't know. I'm not cool with it. Yeah. You know, as an auntie. Yeah. You know.